Black Balloon back with another video with the navy blue hat on this time. New hat. Favorite color. Y'all know where we from. Anyways. So yeah, look, I told y'all I was gonna come back, with a couple videos just talking to y'all about different subjects, things that just kind of pop up in my mind. And that's what we doing. So anyways, but look, I was just thinking. I was thinking like two questions in my head. What's next? And, well, the other one's not a question. The fact that it's not over. So we got what's next and the fact that it's not over. And I say it's not over because, amongst the YouTube community, YouTube truth community, and everybody that's just kind of awakening to the things that kind of like misled you throughout life. You awaken into, new truths, new deceptions. You finding out about yourself. You may be coming to the point where you're finding out your true purpose in life. And it kind of all seems like one big cycle once you join into this community of basically searching for truth, because it doesn't really end. It's almost like time itself. It never really ends. It's like that. It just circles around itself, kind of like that Ouroboros thing where you have the serpent eating its own tail, which kind of represents time in itself. It's like a continuous loop, and that's almost what truth seeking is. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I say it's not over, because it's like at the end of the day, what are we preparing for? You see what I'm saying? And I be thinking about this because there has to be some kind of end game, like it almost seems like amongst the YouTube truth community and just people, seeking this kind of information, it's like we're waiting for doomsday. It's like we're waiting for something to complete this cycle, of what we think we know and the things that we think we know are gonna happen. A lot of people are starting to talk about December 21st and the planet alignment and things that are coming back around, to our time, basically resetting the earth that we live on so we can, live in sort of a new dimension, on a higher frequency, on a higher plane, because earth is basically elevating, earth is rising itself, and we have to rise along with earth. But a lot of the times when people talk about those things, it's more in a way that they're like expecting the worst out of it, not like the positive things out of it. Most of it is like, all right, if your frequency is not right, if you're not this, if you're not that by this certain time, then you're gonna get left behind. Which obviously, you can back that with the fact that humans are like, we're kind of like plugged into like that apocalypse type shit. Like we really get off on like apocalyptic type of events and talks. It's fascinating basically, like we really get off on that shit. But truthfully, I don't think anyone wants to actually experience that. So that's why I say it's not over. And then at the same time, what is next? Because I can keep sitting here every day dropping videos, exposing stuff just like everybody else. And yeah, don't get me wrong, it does its good because there's still millions of people to be reached, to find out certain things about the world that they may have never known, or even find out things about themselves that they have never known. And obviously that is the purpose of everything, but to what end does it bring? What end does it bring? What is eventually gonna happen? Does Earth, does humans, does the human civilization that we're currently living in, are we supposed to reach a certain level and reset, or are we supposed to reach another level and go higher, and maybe exist on some kind of different plane, maybe live an entirely different life one day once we're finished here. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know about y'all. This experience on Earth is amazing. At the end of the day, you can't forget to live your life. We still are here to live and learn, you know? And I say that because of, people being so obsessed with everything being over. A lot of pages talk about food shortages and, basically everything just tumbling down. And I don't know about y'all. I don't want to go through none of that shit. Nobody wants to go through that shit. We don't want to experience, what we call our lives, our daily lives, basically coming to an end. We don't want to experience that shit. Yeah, we can, obviously things are going to happen. Things are progressing at a rate that probably we could have never imagined 10 years ago. And you can blame it on us as humans, because we don't understand an end to anything. It's just continuous seek for power and domination over the next man or the next woman. And I'm speaking of people that's at the top, you know. But that that was my whole base of what I was just thinking about a little while ago, was the fact that what's next for everything that we do. We can sit here, talk about people selling their souls. We can talk about, exposing this and that, and pedophilia and everything that goes on in Hollywood. We can keep going on and on and on. But what is gonna be the final say so, the final action to really stamp everything that we're doing, all the work we're doing to expose all the evils in the world? What is gonna happen at the end? Really, you gotta ask yourself this question. Because like I said, we still gotta live at the end of the day. We still gotta live our lives at the end of the day. And I just found myself asking myself that question, like, what is gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, you gotta ask yourself that. Like, what are we actually coming to? Are we gonna be able to see it? Are we gonna be able to feel it? Are we gonna feel some kind of change because of this? Are we gonna see some kind of change because of this? Maybe, all right, now, maybe I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Maybe this is the beginning. Maybe me and you talking, and you watching my videos and whoever else you watch on YouTube, maybe this is the beginning. Maybe this is where it starts before we actually start to see a change from what we are doing. Maybe this is the beginning of what we call the collective consciousness. Maybe this is the beginning of everybody, linking to sort of one brain, which would be God. you know Maybe this is the beginning of the end. I don't know. I don't know, but I ask myself those questions because it's kind of hard to sit here and say, you know where we're at in time as far as like a civilization. Obviously, people, if you want to talk about the lower end of it, people talk about, this is the last days, and that's why so much of this stuff is happening. But I don't want to look at it that way. Because nobody wants this shit to be over. You don't want it to be over. You don't want this to be over the way you can get in your car, go drive somewhere, and have yourself a good day. At the end of the day, that's almost what life is all about. Besides the obvious of learning and just growing as a person, as a soul, as a human. you know Life is mostly about living and helping others, helping other people, which is why I feel so positive about the things that I do as far as YouTube and what I do in my daily life. Because we can't just you know do this on YouTube in front of a camera, in front of people that we don't interact with every day in our physical lives. You still got to take what you learn on YouTube and wherever else, and I'm talking about myself too, and you got to apply it to your everyday life. If you come across a person that needs help, or maybe they may need talking to or something, you got to help that person, be a helping hand. you know so that's just what I was thinking about today. You know, literally was just thinking about that this morning, which is something I think about a lot. But like I said, I don't like to think about it in the sense of like everything is just coming to an end and boom, we die and that's it. You know, I'm here to kind of just give you another way to think about things. You know what I'm saying? To don't be so hung on everything coming to an end so fast. You don't want to go through a food shortage. You don't want to be, you know, in some fucking FEMA camp. You don't want shit to just, you don't want an apocalypse. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it. Nobody wants it, you know, no matter what you do in your daily life, no matter how, you know, how good you are on or how evil you are, you know, nobody wants that shit. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, my question today is where are we and what's next? You know, where are we on the timeline of our civilization? Where are we? You know, did we do this before? Or is this the first time a human civilization has kind of reached this point collectively? You know, the collective consciousness. Is this the first time we've reached this point? Is this the first time where we're about to experience what's going to happen at the end of this year with the planet alignment and the new energy and frequencies that are being brought to this planet? Is this the first time? I don't know. You know, I don't know. They say this is something that happens every 3,600 years. You know, that's what they say. But once again, this is information that we get that is passed down. You know, without the internet, we wouldn't really have any of this shit. You know, without the internet. And, you know, that kind of relates back to the video that I just dropped. But that was more along the lines of social media. You know, your apps and shit. You know, Twitter and all that good shit. And then at the end of the day, you know, if we didn't have YouTube, which is basically an app, it's sort of a part of social media. If we didn't have it, a lot of this shit we wouldn't know. We wouldn't be able to connect to each other. So yes, it can be very distracting. It can be very manipulating, like I talked about in that last video. But then, you know, what I didn't say in that video was the positive side of it. Because look at you and look at me, which this is more amongst the YouTube community. We wouldn't have any of this knowledge if it wasn't for the internet. None of this was obvious. This was obviously planned long ago. You know, God knew this was going to happen long ago. This is the way that we sort of reach each other. You know, I wouldn't know a lot of the things that I do know if it wasn't for the internet, if it wasn't for, you know, the times that we live in. We're here now for a reason, you know. We are being upgraded to understand and learn all of the things that we're being faced with today. You know, the DNA is being activated. You know, all of that, all of that information that goes back maybe as old as the universe is stored in your DNA. So as it's being activated, you're starting to understand and learn more information. And that's why a lot of younger people today, you know, they're born just automatically getting it. It's because their DNA is a lot more activated than people that were born 20 to 30 years ago. So at the end of the day, you know, having the internet around is a major plus, you know, because we get to do what I'm doing today. You know, so that's kind of like the other side that I didn't touch on in that last video. It doesn't take away anything on what I said on how manipulating social media and the internet can be. Of course, that is the bottom line of it. But at the end of the day as well, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without the internet. I wouldn't be able to reach, you know, 2,000 something subscribers that I have, and maybe the ones that are, you know, to come in the future. And that goes right along with all the other pages out there, you know. So yeah, you know, as I like to do it, I don't want to keep this talk going too long. I just kind of wanted to, you know, be a little thought provoking and make y'all think about some things in a couple different ways. Hopefully I didn't, like, you know, jump from whatever what I was talking about. Hopefully it kind of all just aligns and makes sense to y'all, you know. So y'all know how I'm coming. But anyway, Black Balloon signing out. Till next time.